We are dealing with the new chapter today. So you will be knowing that this is about the consumer right. So consumers, who are all called as consumers? The buyers. You and me are called as the consumers. When we go to a place like an wholesale area or to a market area or to a shop, you are buying a product, then you are called as a consumer. So as a consumer, we do have some rights. So you'll be asking, ma'am, what rights? As a citizen, we have right. But as a consumer, how do we have a right? Yes, we do have a right. We do have a court. We do have an area where we can argue and have a justification of ourselves. So before get into that topic, so if you have your book, just have your book and look into your book. Like in the first page of your book, you can find lot of newspaper clippings are given. All these newspaper clippings are being the cases that are being filed by the consumers upon the producers for getting their own justifications. Like you can find that these newspaper clippings describes few things like it has given the right to the consumers to buy their products, and if it is defective, if it is not worthy enough, it has provided the consumer with all right to enter into an court which is called as the consumer court and file a case upon it. So this is the first thing that you can see. So I just go through it, my dear students, once the video is over so that you will have a clear picture about the introduction. Then you can see that we have the next thing, that consumers in the marketplaces. So previous chapter we saw about globalization, and in globalization we saw that the MNC's company has entered into India and it started making so much of struggle for the producers of the industrialists as well as the manufacturers, and also you can find that domestic producers were highly affected. Yes, and they were being pushed into the condition of organized sector to an unorganized sector where they did not get any kind of privileges which was existing for them before. So you can find that these have been because of the right which was not existing among them, and also you can see that the people did not have the proper knowing about the rules and regulations that has been existing. Then you can also see that this rights have been very important for everyone in the society. So we are supposed to protect our own producers. We are supposed to protect our own laborers, right? So similarly, we have the rights, we have the duty to protect even the consumers. Okay, if you see in the Swapna's case, Swapna is a person who has got money from the money lender, right? Where she got the money and she was not able to repay the money to the money lender, because of which she was made to sell her own land, and she has been get into the trap also, like she has been under the concept of debt trap also, right? So, but those things should not exist, right? For the consumers, we have certain rights which are there, which we'll see in the forthcoming content. Okay. Now, we'll see how the consumers are exploited. What is this consumer exploitation? If you go to a shop, buy a product, and that product is not good, when you go and ask the particular seller, he says, he puts the complaint upon the other person, or he may say that if you want to buy the product, otherwise go somewhere else and buy the product. That is what will be the reply from the seller, but he will never take up the responsibility at all. But it is the government's responsibility to even safeguard the consumers. So how and all they are being exploited, we'll see. So if you see, first thing is that the exploitation of consumers are happening in all the places, not only in one area, in all the places you can find they have been exploited. Like the trade is indulge themselves in unfair trade. Unfair trade will be happening. They'll bring the adulterated product. They'll bring the defective products like that will be brought and sold. And you can also see that the sellers will sell at a less weight. If you are asking for 1 kg, he will show it. The machine will show that it is 1 kg, but actually when you go home and measure it, it will not be the actual 1 kg which will be there. So that is also the way through which the consumers are exploited. And next thing, if you see adulteration and defective products. Adulteration means adulteration happens in all the products from the cloth to the eatables, right? Even in oil you can find adulterations there. Pepper seeds you have the adulteration which is being prevailing. You can also even see the adulteration which is there even in the milk products. Okay, so that is the thing. Then you can see the defective products. Maybe when you buy a television, it may work when it is there in the shop. After it has been taken home, it may not work properly, and the seller may not give you the proper response. He will say that it is the product of that, you better inquire with them. So what happens is that the consumer is highly affected over there. He is spending around 30 to 40,000 to buy a TV. Right? So when he is getting a defective product, how it will be? So those kind of things should not exist. The consumer also should be protected. So that is the main reason we have the consumer movement also. Okay, so we'll see the consumer movement later. Now we will get into the exploitation. So you see, like that is also happening. Then we can see that the false information that is being given. So false information like new ads, like they will give too much of ads. Like you even have Complan which has been ad, which has been telecasted in the TV, right? So where you will see the children who are all drinking Complan will grow taller and taller and taller, right? It has not been proved properly, but it is a health drink which gives an information that when you drink you grow taller, and there is no proper evidence. It is some false information being given. Along with it, you can also see that there was a company which was there in America which was also saying that their milk product has been, milk powder which has been produced by them is comparatively better than the mother's milk. That is how they were being giving ads. But you know what happened? It took a lot of struggle, it took a lot of pain for the people to struggle upon it. They filed a case, they inquired upon it, too much of research were being held. There was a long process of struggle which was being held. After the struggle, it was being, the government has made the company to accept that what information that was given by it was wrong, and now you can find that whatever the milk product that is being given for the babies, the milk powders, in that it will be mentioned that mother milk is better than this powder. So that is how it has made the consumer to be highly aware of everything. Okay, that is the false information that you can see. And similarly, you can see about cigarette companies. So cigarettes which is being produced, no, even that took long years to make them to understand that it is a harmful thing that they are producing, where it affects the human's life. It will even lead to the cancer, and even now you can see it will be mentioned in the wrappers of the cigarette box. It is harmful for health, right? So if they made them to print it so that the consumers, when they are buying, they will know that it has harmfulness in it. Okay, they are not supposed to give false information to the consumers. So this is another way which they are exploiting the consumer. So the consumer exploitation should not happen. Okay, my dear students, so this is what is about the consumer right and consumer exploitation today. So we'll have a quick recap. So if you see, we saw in the first page that we have lot of newspaper cuttings which shows that the consumers have been filing case upon the sellers who are been producing defective products, health effects which are being created by the doctors, and wrong bills that are being printed by the telephone company. So based on them they are filing cases. So you can find that people have come into existence about the consumer awareness, consumer rights have been there, and you can find that previously we had an organized sector, now we are getting into the unorganized sector. Organized sector was providing so much of welfare benefits for the common peoples. After the MNC company has entered into it, the common peoples are pushed, the workers particularly, has been pushed into the unorganized sector, and more number of people are moving into the formal types of loan and informal types of loan also. And you can find that the consumers are being the person who are supposed to be protected now. We have started protecting the producers, domestic producers. We have started protecting the industrialists. We have started protecting the workers by promoting laws, making rules and regulations, by protecting the interest of the seller, and also we have done. But the reduction of trade barrier has also been done. But there is no way in which the consumers can be saved. Consumer can be protected. For that only we have the consumer right. So first we should know how the consumers are exploited. Then we'll know how the consumer movement has started and what are the result of the consumer movement. You see, the consumers are exploited in many ways, like traders indulge themselves in unfair trades, like they bring the smuggled products, they bring the adulterated products, so that is being brought and sold, which will be affecting the consumer. Then you can see that the weight of the product will not be the equally how it is measured in the place of where you got. Right? So the next thing you can see that adulteration also will be there. Even all the products has the adulteration, defection of products is also available. Television, radios, whatever it is, it will be working over there. Once you come back, it won't work. So it is the defective products. And giving false information, giving them the wrong information about their own product is also a wrong thing. Even now the government has informed them to give the proper information, like if it is a biscuit packet, what are the ingredients that is added, what is manufacturing date, what is the expiry date, all these things should be added in the pack of the product which you are getting. If at all, you should not buy that, and they may even have an excess to pay, like this traders when they bring they may add the tax along with that and they will give you the product. So this is also the way in which you are being exploited. So like false information should not be given, like milk products as well as the cigarettes. They force them to write given coating stating that the milk product is not comparatively better than mother's milk and cigarettes are harmful for the health. So this is how the government has been trying to help the consumers from getting exploited. Okay, my dear students, so this is what is about today's class.